never again have this client-master relationship. The moment you take aid, the moment you beg and borrow for your existence, you lose your dignity and self-respect. And this is what we lost. So it doesn't mean that the Tehreek-e-Insaf government will be anti-American. It doesn't mean that, but it will mean that we would want friendship, which means that, you know, we can become an ally in having peace in Afghanistan, but we will not become an ally in fighting an unwinnable and an insane war, a war which is doing the opposite, totally counterproductive. It was supposed to end, the war that was supposed to end extremism, and it's ended up, there's more extremism today now. In my opinion, the world is a far more dangerous place now than it was on 9/11. And it's because you do not fight a war of terror. Terrorism is you deal with terrorism by winning hearts and minds of people. You don't bomb them into submission. Or by bombing and causing collateral damage, all that you do is you create more enemies. So I think the US needs a friend. No longer does, in my opinion, the US should no longer patronize stooges, because this last stooge that they have patronized in Pakistan has neither served them and certainly not served the people of Pakistan. Thank you. I look forward to your question.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. May I kindly request you to take your seat at the head table? Ambassador Pillai will moderate the question and answer session. For those who are posing questions, please proceed to the standing mic along the aisle that is closest to you and begin by identifying yourself and the organization you represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan, for a wonderful speech. Before I start the question and answers, I already see a long queue there. I just want to make a small appeal to Mr. Khan. Please do not demolish the governor's residence in Lahore. It's a beautiful building and it could be a fantastic museum in your government. So please don't demolish it. I've been there for dinner when I was High Commissioner of Singapore to Pakistan, and it has got architectural features which are very, very beautiful. So please consider that as a request. Now,
Ambassador Pillai, can I just reiterate what I said? I said that the walls will come down, outside walls. I did not say that the building will come down. The building will be made either into a library or a museum, as you know.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the subtle distinction. I thought you were going to raise it to the ground. Now,
there are other buildings I have in mind that will be raised to the ground.
Yes. Some of them do need to be raised. But now, some basic rules. Please give your name. Do not make a speech. The speech was given by Mr. Imran Khan. I don't want any speeches. Yes, if you have a brief comment, that's fine. But it must be followed by 1 or 2 questions. And we'll try and accommodate as many as possible. So I see number 1 is from ISAS itself, Surya. Yes, your question.
So I'm Surya from ISAS. So your excellent coverage of the current situation in Pakistan, there was only one missing element, if I may dare say so. You didn't say much about the Pakistan Army and its involvement in Pakistani politics over the decades. Is Pakistan Army in any way radicalized and in any sense? If so, what will be your solution? And secondly, you did mention your visit to China. And China has always said, and Pakistan has reciprocated this statement, that China and Pakistan are all well friends. In the present crisis situation in Pakistan, is there something you will be looking towards China for setting matters right in Pakistan? Although I would expect Pakistan to resort to self-help as India did. Thank you.
The Pakistan Army. I think, as I mentioned before, that Pakistan will have to be run like it's never been run before. It has to be governed completely differently, and of course it means the relationship between the Pakistan Army and the civilian government. One of the reasons why the army has interfered over the previous decades is because there has become a political vacuum. Political governments have failed, and the Pakistan Army has come in and filled the void. The reason why I think this will no longer happen is because Pakistan has moved forward. The thought process has moved on in Pakistan. No longer is any section of the society today thinking that the military is an answer. If the democratic government fails, no one now thinks that the military can come and solve the problem, because we have finally realized that military interfering into civilian affairs is like trying to cure cancer with Disprin. You feel better for a while and then the cancer spreads. So basically Pakistan needs to replace poor democratic governments with better democratic governments. And so I feel, number one, that if the army was going to interfere at any time, it should have been in these past 5 years, because never has the governance been as bad as now, lawlessness and all the things I pointed out. And the reason why it didn't interfere is because I think the army also realized, first time it realizes that it does not have the answer to Pakistan's problem. They need a civilian government with a mandate, which has the moral authority to then make the reforms that are needed in the country. And I just give you an example of Turkey. The Turkish army's record is almost the same as the Pakistan army's record. The difference in the last 10 years has been that in Turkey they had a democratic government which performed, which had moral authority, which the people backed, had the people's mandate. And we have seen that in Turkey, gradually the army moved to the position it should be, to defending the borders. No longer is Turkish army likely ever to interfere in Turkish democracy again. I feel that the Pakistan army, the moment you have a government that performs, I think that the same will happen in Pakistan. About China, I think there's nothing China can do right now. We have to sort our affairs. The problems we are facing in Pakistan can only be sorted out by Pakistanis. But what China can do is, after, inshallah, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf comes to power, what China can then do is help us in various areas. One is poverty alleviation, but the other is, mega cities in China. The experience that they have learned from these huge cities and how to govern them is invaluable for us, because Karachi is already 16 million people. We can learn a lot from China in so many issues, but specifically how to run the mega cities. And we would want investment from China once we get the governance system going. I think China is one of the few economies with surplus cash which can then invest in Pakistan.
Can I, just 1 minute, I think this lady will be here a bit longer, please.